US and Russia agree on one thing: Ethiopia needs the sea. Russia and US rarely agree on anything, but they are both backing Ethiopia's return to the sea. Why? Because the Horn of Africa is no longer just a regional issue, it's a global flashpoint. Hi, I'm Iman Farid, and this is Analytica Today. Ethiopia, landlocked for over 30 years, is nearing completion of new naval headquarters in Addis Ababa, with Russia training its sailors, and just last week, the US ambassador openly voicing support. This is not just about ships. It's about power, trade, and survival in the Horn of Africa, a global hotspot and one of the world's most tense and militarized regions. And Ethiopia's 120 million people, over 60% of the entire Horn's population, are at the heart of this storm. So why does this matter so much to Ethiopia? And why does this mean for the Horn of Africa? Here are the facts. For many Ethiopians, the loss of access to sea was not just a strategic loss, it was a national wound. Back in early 1990s, Eritrea gained independence after a long and bloody war. But what shocked many Ethiopians was not the separation. It was how quietly and easily it happened. No demand for sea access, no negotiation, not even a conversation. No one asked what Ethiopians needed. Since then, Ethiopia has depended almost entirely on the port of Djibouti. It pays over $1.5 billion annually just to keep trade flowing. Now let that number sink in, $1.5 billion every single year. To give you a sense of scale, Ethiopia's national budget in 2024 was $16.8 billion. This means port fees are nearly 10% of what the entire government runs on. The country's total exports were $3.8 billion. That makes port access alone equal to almost 40% of what Ethiopia earns through trade. That's like running a massive household where you have to rent your front door from a neighbor and they charge you premium rates. That's a trade deficit, bleeding cash, with port fees eating up nearly half the export values. For farmers, traders, and families, this means higher prices, fewer jobs, and strangled economy. For Ethiopia, access to Red Sea is not a luxury. It's a lifeline. For the rest of the world, the Red Sea is a global artery. For the rest of the world, the Red Sea is a global artery. 15% of the world flows through it. But it's a war zone. Syria, Yemen, Sudan, Somalia, all burning with proxy conflicts. The Horn's packed with powers: US, China, France, Japan, Turkey, UAE, Saudi Arabia, even Iran, crowding tiny Djibouti. Ethiopia, the Horn's giant, can't just sit back. So when Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed says the country has a legitimate claim to the sea, it resonates deeply. Today, Ethiopia's brand new naval headquarters in Addis Ababa is 95% complete. It might sound odd, a navy and a landlocked capital, but it's symbolic and strategic. Russia has already stepped in. Russian Navy officers are helping train Ethiopian personnel. They are supporting Ethiopia's defense ambitions in a region where most countries have direct access to the sea. What's surprising, the United States is not pushing back. In fact, US Ambassador Erwin Masinga publicly supported Ethiopia's maritime aspirations last week, calling them legitimate and critical for stability in the region. What's more, Washington has been slowly warming up to Somaliland's independence, claims in 2025, a shift that could open new channels for Ethiopia to reach the Red Sea. So what's going on? Why are two rivals, Russia and the US, backing the same cause? It comes down to something simple: stability. The Red Sea is not just any coastline. It's one of the world's most important shipping lanes, connecting Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The nations surrounding it on fire. Sudan is collapsing. Yemen has not recovered or even finalized its decade-old civil war. The US is still bombing it. Somalia is struggling with terrorism every day. Eritrea, as per usual, is mobilizing to fight yet another war. Djibouti hosts bases for China, France, and the US, and more. Turkey, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Iran all have military or economic interests nearby. It's like a global chessboard, and Ethiopia is right in the center. With over 120 million people and the largest military in the Horn, Ethiopia is not just a stakeholder, it's the backbone of the region. For both Washington and Moscow, the logic is clear. A concerned Ethiopia could destabilize the entire Horn, but a connected Ethiopia, economically and militarily, could anchor peace. This is not about agreement between US and Russia. It's about necessity. Here's the thing. Over 30 years, Ethiopians have paid the price, economically and emotionally, for something that should be theirs, access to the sea. They have seen foreign navies patrol waters they can't reach. And they have lived with the knowledge that one closed port could strangle their economy. But now, for the first time, global powers are listening. Ethiopia may be landlocked, but it's not stuck. It's building, it's negotiating, it's asserting itself, not through conflict, but through diplomacy. Russia and the US may not see eye to eye on most things, but when it comes to Ethiopia's future at sea, they seem to agree on one thing. This is not just about ports, it's about power, partnership, and stability. Thank you for watching Analytica Today. If you like this episode, drop a like, subscribe, and comment.